Hey weebs, Diavolo here, and in today's video we're going to go over the abilities, power, appearance, and personality of probably, in my opinion, one of the coolest and most mysterious characters that we have met in the Jujutsu Kaisen manga so far. This is Toji Fushiguro. But before we get into all that, remember to headbutt that like button if you enjoy the video and leave a comment down below with who you'd like to see in the next character analysis. If you're new around here, be sure to subscribe for similar content to do with Jujutsu Kaisen, Yasuke, and more anime, hopefully in the future. Anyway, let's get into the appearance of the GOAT, Toji Fushiguro. He was a former member of the Zenin family and an infamous assassin known as the Sorcerer Killer. Toji is a muscular man with straight black hair that reaches to his ears. He has green eyes like his son, thin black eyebrows, and a sharp scar over the right side of his mouth just to the edge of his lip. Toji wears a simple outfit consisting of a long sleeve and matching pants with sandals. While fighting, Toji wears a tight-fitting short sleeve shirt and sports tan baggy training pants with a black belt weaved through the waist as well as black martial arts slippers. The personality of Toji Fushiguro. Toji is a cold, calm, confident type of man who likes to enjoy himself and make money using his skills. He appears to enjoy insightful conversations with others as long as it somehow relates to himself, and can trade banter with the highly sarcastic lights of Satoru Gojo. Upon meeting, Gojo asked if they had met before, but Toji assured him that he's not the type to remember some guy either. In battle, Toji has a crazed expression as if he's lost in the sensation of the fight, but he's always maintaining a cool and calculated head, constantly plotting his next move. Toji is an assassin who's garnered the name Sorcerer Killer and spends his time gambling between assignments from shady clients. A lot like Mei, he doesn't ever question the client's motives as long as the money is right, which is why he ended up taking such a ridiculous job from the Time Vessel Association. He married a woman and left her just as quickly, leaving his newborn child without knowing their gender and eventually forgot their name. This just happened to be Megumi. Toji even planned on selling Megumi to the Zenin family that he had left behind, exploiting the young Megumi for the curse technique he would eventually inherit. As a non-sorcerer raised in the Zenin family who values curse techniques above all, Toji is just another man who has suffered due to the interest of the Sorcerer clan in a very similar manner to Maki Zenin. His evil actions are a result of his dejection towards the Jujutsu world as he attempts to spite it. Born without curse energy, Toji eventually left the Zenin family and married a woman, taking her name Fushiguro. He sold their son to the Zenin family because he believed in young Megumi's potential to be a real sorcerer, naming him Megumi because it means blessings. Toji was able to complete his final mission for the Time Vessel Association and should have cut and run when faced with a rejuvenated Satoru Gojo. However, due to his disdain for the Jujutsu world and sorcerer families, Toji chose to try and cut down the most gifted sorcerer in the world as another way to spite them all. Unfortunately, this pride cost Toji his life. Unable to look past his demons, he deviated from his natural instincts and looked past the uneasiness plaguing him during the fight. Keeping up with his cold persona, Toji chose not to utter any final words at first. In his final moments, he thought of his ex-wife and their son, so he decided to tell Satoru that he would be sold into the Zenin family in a few years, a decision that would eventually lead to Satoru becoming a closer mentor for Megumi in the future, as well as granting Megumi a chance to work as a Jujutsu sorcerer. Granny Ogami's seance technique returned Toji's soul from the dead, turning him into a manifestation of carnage. He would attack anything in his path, mostly focused on crushing the strongest opponent available. While endangering his own son with his outburst of aggression, Toji chose to return to death by committing suicide in order to protect him. He also did so without ever revealing their connection to each other. Instead, with his final words, Toji expressed that he is glad to hear that Megumi refers to himself as a Fushiguro instead of a Zenin. The overall power of Toji Fushiguro. While Toji is technically a non-curse user with no innate talent for Jujutsu, he was one of the most elite fighters in the Jujutsu world when he was alive. With innate physical prowess far superior to all others in his path, Toji contended with the most dangerous and highly ranked Jujutsu practitioners this era had to offer. He was able to defeat special grade Jujutsu users on 3 separate occasions, one of which was a young Satoru Gojo, who at the time was still considered a prodigy and one of the world's strongest sorcerers. The other sorcerer who was considered the strongest at the time was the curse manipulator Suguru Geto, who was effortlessly taken down by Toji, along with several of his strongest curse spirits. Toji referred to Suguru's abilities as rabble compared to his own strength. Toji used the Jujutsu knowledge from the Zenin family and turned it against sorcerers. This earned him the title, the Sorcerer Killer. During the Star Plasma Vessel Escort mission, an assignment given to the two strongest sorcerers by Master Tengen, Toji was hired by the Time Vessel Association to assassinate the girl. Toji was able to completely derail the escort through a series of tactical moves over the course of a few days. He wore down the escort team and lured them into a false sense of security before he abruptly made his move. This allowed him to successfully pull off a surprise attack on a user of the prestigious Six Eyes, an ocular jutsu that grants godlike perception. Toji took full advantage of his lack of cursed energy, making him the perfect assassin thanks to his status as an invisible man. The culmination of all Toji's talents allowed him to successfully defeat the Star Plasma Vessel's escort team and assassinate the girl, completing his assignment while nearly killing both of Jujutsu High's most blessed sorcerers in the process. Toji was only defeated when he pitted his pure physical prowess against the literally infinite power of the awakened limitless technique wielded by Satoru Gojo. Even in the face of this power, Toji was able to create clever ways to combat the abilities of the limitless that were known to the Zenin family. Only the secret hollow purple technique was powerful enough to put down Toji once and for all. Yuki Tsukumo, another special grade sorcerer, found that Toji was the only case where a heavenly restriction has eradicated someone's cursed energy completely. By eliminating all cursed energy, Toji's body was sharpened to the point where he developed a resistance to curses and was able to detect them with his highly refined 5 senses. This also allowed him to dominate and utilize a cursed spirit capable of his strong, wide arsenal of weapons. Yuki considered him to be truly superhuman and told Suguru that he shouldn't be ashamed to have lost to him in a fight. When resurrected by Granny Ogami's seance technique, Toji's body was able to overwrite her technique and acted purely on fighting instinct. At the start of his out-of-control rampage, Toji killed Ogami with a single blow and nearly beat Grade 2 sorcerer Takuma Ino to death with his bare hands, completely alone, and absolutely dominated him. Dagon was a powerful curse that Maki and Grade 1 sorcerers Kento Nanami and Naobito Zenin were not able to defeat together. In comparison, Toji made exercising Dagon look effortless, cementing his own status to undeniably on the level of that of a special grade. Shortly after, Toji confronted Megami and the latter compared Toji to a fully realized Maki. He also recognized Toji as a monster, capable of taking out a special grade cursed spirit, and assessed his Shikigami were no match for him. If Toji had not chosen to sacrifice himself, Megami too would have just been another victim of Toji's rampage. The abilities of Toji Fushiguro. Unlike any known case in the world, Toji possesses no cursed energy at all. His heavenly restriction eliminated cursed energy from his body completely. This makes Toji undetectable to Jujutsu sorcerers, making him capable of moving through barriers undetected or even sneaking past the Six Eyes. This aided his unpredictability and caused others to underestimate him based purely on his cursed energy. Toji Fushiguro's heavenly restriction. The trade-off for Toji's complete lack of cursed energy is his immense physical prowess. While it has been noted that several people have had heavenly restrictions that bring their cursed energy to a normal human's level, Toji is the only case where it has erased the person's energy completely. By eliminating all cursed energy, Toji's body became sharpened to a point where his 5 senses reached his pinnacle, and he could freely interact with curses. Granny Ogami summons the information of Toji's body for her seance technique. However, she's unable to control him because his heavenly gifted body overwrites her grandchild's soul information. Furthermore, his body doesn't take up cursed energy, allowing Toji to be resurrected for an unprecedented amount of time. Toji has a cursed spirit that can store a high number of different objects within its body. This allows Toji to store his weapons as well as freely interchange them by putting them into the curse or taking them out of its mouth. Additionally, the curse can shrink itself within its own body, allowing Toji to ingest it so people can't detect the cursed energy it emits. The inventory curse contains Toji's entire wide arsenal, including his curse tools, a chain, and even a swarm of flyheads Toji can use as chaff grenades. Suguru attempted to absorb this curse to stop Toji's access to weapons, but it was able to reject him, displaying Toji's uncanny control over it. Toji used a normal katana to stab Gojo through his back during his initial surprise attack on the escort team. Using a non-curse tool allowed him to stab Sudoro without being detected. method. Toji used a standard handgun to suddenly shoot Riko Amane, the star plasma vessel, in the head and kill her. He also fired several bullets at Suguru while avoiding his rainbow dragon. Toji used a small combat knife with a thin blade and dual wield alongside his inverted Spear of Heaven to cut down Sadaro, finished off the slashing flurry and stabbing him in the forehead with a knife. One of Toji's primary curse tools was the large Japanese broadsword with a fur tsuba and a dark handle. Coupled with Toji's superhuman strength, this weapon was able to cut through several of Suguru's curses, including the Rainbow Dragon, which had the hardest skin among all of his curses. And the crazy thing is that this weapon was only worth 500,000 yen. The Inverted Spear of Heaven is a special grade tool with the ability to completely nullify curse techniques on contact. It does so by using an imbued curse technique fueled by a foreign cursed energy. He used this to force the stoppage of the Infinity technique, completely bypassing the nearly impenetrable Limitless. Toji also connected this dagger to a chain to create a Kusa Rigama-like weapon, allowing him to use the Inverted Spear of Heaven from a long range. Playful Cloud is a special grade tool that embodies pure and solid power, which he took from Maki Zenin after he was resurrected. In Toji's hands, the 3-section staff reflected his incredible physical strength, making a weapon capable of destroying even Dagon's hardest Shikigami with a single blow. By rubbing it together, Toji sharpened Playful Cloud, turning it into a deadly stabbing weapon. He used it to stab Dagon repeatedly through the head until the special grade was exercised. Anyway guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Really loved Toji and his whole character design. I think that he was fleshed out really well in the manga, and it'd be awesome when we get to see the GOAT animated in the second season of JJK, sometime soon hopefully. If you guys are new around here, be sure to hit that sub button because something is saying like 95% of the people that watch my vids aren't subscribed, so hit that if you can. Also remember to like the video and leave a comment down below and let me know who you want to see feature next. But for now, it's been your professional degenerate, Diavolo, and I'll see you all in a bit. Bye.